no, he's going to be so big. Like, Jarvis is going to be bigger than me.
Yeah.
She was like, you're kidnapping my son.
My name's Fraser. My name's Jarvis.
I feel like FaZe never recovered from the Save the Kids thing.
I saw like an article and it said FaZe Kay could face 30 years in jail. I was like, what?
You know, this is not the Kay I've known for 10 years.
Oh, I'm about to steal money from people. If you pay somebody back, it's like an admission of guilt. Like, you don't understand, I'm paying these people back. I booked a flight to land in New York. My lawyer called me up and goes, yo, Fraser, you just booked a flight to the United States? And I was like, yeah, like, how do you know that? And he was like, the FBI just called me saying they saw you booked a flight and want to meet you at the airport.
You're probably terrified, huh?
Terrified.
I just want to give you guys a heads up before the episode starts. We are officially on Spotify and Apple Music for all the people asking. You can check out the links in the description. And also for anybody that used to watch my gaming videos, I'm actually launching a gaming channel in the description. Check it out. What's up, Kay? How you doing?
Apex, how are you, brother?
Good to see you. It has been what, 3 years since I've seen you?
I think, 3 years. I was trying to count since Dubai.
Yeah, we met up in Dubai. By the way, guys, everyone, it's called Dubai, not
Wait,
Dubai.
really?
No, I'm not saying it to you because I call it Dubai, and then people will comment being like Dubai, and they try to meme me for saying it wrong.
never
but
heard that.
That's actually how you say it.
I might just stick with Dubai.
No, you stick to Dubai. But,
Okay.
but I saw you there. I saw you and Jarvis there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2021. I was out there for a CS event.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys were out there. Why were you out there? Oh, you were like living out there for a little,
We
huh?
were doing some. Yeah, I mean, I did get. Yeah, I've got some stuff going on in Dubai.
Oh, you still do?
Yeah, so I was there recently this year as well.
Okay.
But I do like it. It's a good time.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it. But yeah, it's a unique place.
Oh yeah, very unique.
Very unique place, especially like
Very new.
I've been in different places around the Middle East, and it's just different. The vibe there
Yeah.
was very, very interesting. It felt like Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, when I went to meet with you,
Yeah.
like we went to like a coffee shop. I went to get breakfast before whatever. I was just kicking it by myself. All the workers I saw they just looked like it felt like I was in Europe. Everybody there was European.
There's so many like Russian, Swedish people there, like a mix of Europe. French.
Yeah, it's an interesting place.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good
I
time.
haven't seen you since then. It's been like 3 years.
Trust.
Because you guys are in Vegas now, right?
Yep.
Even me, I'm not I'm not in LA, so I'm not usually even up here unless I'm coming to film or something. But
Oh, nice.
good to see you, man.
Yeah, you
I'm gonna
too.
get to see Jarvis today too.
Trust. Yeah, he's
So
sparring
my guy's
right
my guy's full on boxer now.
now. Trust. Hopefully he's not bruised up when he's in here. He's literally fighting someone at the moment.
Yeah, he's like little. I remember him as a little kid in your videos.
Yeah.
People don't realize, Jarvis was on your channel. Like I was looking yesterday, over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
that's
people thought he just
crazy.
popped up at Fortnite, but no.
No.
You were making the little brother content like way back then.
Yeah, way back. No, we loved it because we'd always click when making videos. So
Yeah.
and whenever I was filming videos for ages, I put Jarvis in it. It gets 3 times the amount of views, and I have 3 times as much enjoyment. So I was like, all right, let's just do that forever.
That's one thing I've always known about you is that you're very family oriented, right? You're like a family guy
Yeah, absolutely.
and friends. Me and you, I think, are both similar in that
Yeah.
way. We both have core groups of friends that we grew up with.
From
Like
school, yeah.
I think I met your friends when we
Yeah,
went to
you
Gfinity.
definitely met a lot of
I think
my
the
friends.
first time when we went to Gfinity,
you've
right?
you've met a good amount.
I've met all your friends. Tico too. I've met a lot of Tico's friends.
Yeah, trust.
And that's something for me. I know, like my group of friends always kept me like
Yeah, it's very
sane and grounded, whatever the words are. Like I needed them. Yeah,
Grounded, yeah. Like when you get too big for your boots sometimes when you're a kid,
yeah.
and they like slap you. Like, what are you doing, Fraser?
They don't care about they don't care about FaZe Kay, or they don't care about anything you're doing. They just care about Fraser. It's very important. So I know you've always had that, and you're very family oriented. So even what you're saying about Jarvis, like
Yeah.
I know for you as one of your friends, I know that you enjoyed making content with Jarvis more than you do it by yourself. Not just because the views, like you said, but you also like the enjoyment. So can you give a background of your family, your parents, like where you come from?
Yeah.
And I know you spoke also about that in the last few years a little bit. So can you
Yeah,
give kind of a breakdown of that in your childhood?
Absolutely. So my dad is from Nepal. He was in like the Gurkha Rifles growing up. Like that come from a very army side of my family. Like his dad and dad was all in the army, like generals and stuff. So it's a pretty intense guy.
What does that mean, Gurkha Rifles? Sorry.
The Gurkha Rifles is like a regiment. So the Gurkhas are the Nepalese army. It's the only army that's fought alongside the British army for like 2 centuries now.
Okay.
So the Gurkhas are stationed a lot in the United Kingdom, which is again why my dad was able to come to the UK.
Okay.
Because they give them visas and stuff. And my mum was born in Canada, but technically is Scottish. So I'm like half Nepalese, half Scottish, which is crazy. I did like that DNA test.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. That's why I like Scotch so much, I think. Like, but
You just told me you're going there, right? Scotland?
yeah, going there with Scissors and Kaz. So
How sick is that?
Trust.
The LA FaZe House era, Scissors and Kaz both
big
live there.
golf trip to St Andrews, which is going to be cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, no, grew up with mainly with my mother. They separated when I was younger.
Okay.
My mum, Jarvis, and my brother Chandler. We grew up luckily in a really, really nice area of England. My mum ran a hair salon growing up. Always made sure to pick us up from school, take us to school, fit all the mum stuff in, but then grinded really hard. That's where we get our work ethic from, absolutely, just from seeing her grow up like that. But yeah, no, she made sure that we obviously like bonded together. That's why, you know, me, Jarvis, trying to like join at the hip almost, like Jordan was saying yesterday, which I like. I wouldn't want to do anything without my brothers.
Yeah.
I see them as like my best friends as well, so it's really cool. Started doing gaming. Jarvis was never really interested in it, but he was always good.
Yeah.
I remember like back when we used HD PVRs, I was like, bro, I'm gonna get you one. He was like, nah. He was like a bad kid in school.
He was, huh?
Yeah. And then I moved when I moved to LA, that's when he kind of was like, all right, like I kind of want to do it for sure.
Okay,
Got
so
him set up.
you grew up your whole life in the UK.
Yeah, my whole life. I mean, I grew up a lot in England. We had a house in Scotland. I'd spend like 3-4 months out the year.
And how
there.
far was that?
That was about 10-hour drive. So it's cool. It's in a place called Perth in Scotland, the Highlands, like the middle of nowhere. It's why I really like camping and surviving and fishing and hunting and stuff like that.
Okay, so you did it growing up.
Yeah,
You
like
guys
my favorite thing to do would just be like let my mum go out with my cousin with like a can of beans and try and survive.
Really?
Like, the fishing rod and stuff. Yeah.
You guys used to do that?
Yeah.
Really?
It's like my favorite thing to do.
I've
Like when
seen
I'm
you-
old, I'm probably just gonna make like outdoor boys type content.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Because I've seen you post a lot, like in the last few years, fishing and doing stuff like that. But I didn't realize you used to do that. You guys went to Nepal recently, right?
No.
No?
I've only been there when I was 1 year old, but I really want to go back.
Because I feel like you guys like only not recently, but I didn't really hear you talk about it until maybe the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And you guys
yeah.
start like you talk about that you're from Nepal and it's like a warrior. It's like a kind of seems like a warrior lineage.
Yeah, exactly. Like my dad is a very private guy, so
Okay.
like he doesn't like me saying a lot of stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I've never even like my whole time knowing you, I've only really known anything about your mom. Even as one of your friends, I guess.
No,
like,
I mean that's why. You know, when I was a kid, I was before I was a YouTuber, I applied to work at MI6.
what is that?
It's like you know, like where James Bond works. Like the
Oh,
Secret
really?
Service.
Oh,
Yeah.
Secret Service
Like
in the
inspired
UK.
by my dad to like do that. He would like help me sign up, but there's certain requirements basically that I was like, oh, that's like a killer. Like I really don't want to do that.
I could see you as a Secret Service agent.
Yeah, like I really wanted to do that stuff.
I know that when Jarvis started boxing, you guys were like, it's in our blood. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when you were doing, everyone knows. Anyone who's been watching for a while knows how strong Kay is too. You're the only one that used to beat me in the lifting videos.
We actually watched that on my stream not too long ago. That was
Really?
funny, yeah.
Those are fun.
Those are good times.
Okay, so you've been. So you want to go to Nepal soon?
Yeah,
You can go,
definitely.
right? Can you visit, or is it hard to visit?
Yeah, you can visit
okay.
like when it's not monsoon season. I think like October is the best time to go. But no, I definitely like to go with my dad because I've got a grandmother out there, and again, you know, I don't speak to my dad too often, but I know I've got at least like 2 uncles and auntie and however many cousins out there I've never seen.
Damn,
I don't
that'd be
even
cool.
know
So
their
then you want to go
names.
meet him?
Yeah, I need to see them for the first time.
Yeah, I didn't visit Palestine until I was like 21.
Wow.
I went when I was like 3 as well the last time.
Yeah.
When I went, it was just like,
Is that your first time seeing them?
yeah, like a lot of my cousins and stuff,
Wow.
a lot of their kids, and like, you know, my grandparents unfortunately passed away when I was young. I have pictures with them when I was 3, but when I went, I was like, dude, why have I not come?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my family, I have a family of 6.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, you know, it was expensive to fly everyone out there across
Oh,
the country.
yeah.
So like, there was no way when we're growing up. But right when I got, you know, 21, after YouTube making my own money, I was like, I told my parents, I'm like, we gotta go.
That's
Like
cool.
since then, I've gone, you know, 3, 4, 5 times, and I want to go every year. I
Nice.
feel like you're gonna want to do the same thing when you go to Nepal.
Yeah, no, mate, seriously, because it's like where we're from. Obviously, there's I want to go to like base camp, the greenery. I've got my uncle as well that has like a whole thing going on out there. So there's a lot of people I need to
That's
see.
cool. You
Yeah.
gotta do it. You gotta take Jarvis. I feel like Jarvis would love it too, huh?
Yeah, like a hiking trip or something.
Yeah. So you said your mom was a very hard worker. She owned her own business.
Yeah,
So were you guys pretty like well off?
my grandfather on my mum's side had a pretty successful business when before he passed away really young, and didn't set the family up in anywhere near like that, but we had a good base for sure. He had like 3 daughters and a son. My mum was set up pretty nicely, but then obviously it wouldn't have been anything without her hard work. She had a salon in my town with like 30 employees and stuff, which is like a lot just for in a small town. It was interesting growing up. I learned a lot about the hair salon business just through my mom. But I would wake up and she would be already working since like 4 a.m. And then she'd take us to school at like 8:30, pick us up at 3, then work till midnight.
Did you live near the salon?
Yeah, so we live in a small town. Did you live above
it, or am I
No, we do. There is an apartment above it that we had for a bit. But
okay. Yeah,
but no, we live like 1 minute down the road. Like when my grandma was alive, we used to live next door to my grandma.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was like she was my neighbor.
That's making it when you're able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So your mom was a grinder, and you told me before, but she retired recently, right?
Yeah, so she sold her salon, and she doesn't like the word retire because my mom always wants to work or something. Yeah. So we can't say
retired from the salon business.
Exactly, retired from the salon business, yeah. But she's passionate about working, and even though sorry, Mom, I know you're 60 something, I don't want to say it, but she wants to still make business. And she's like, I've got this idea, I want to start this. I'm like, wow, like that's inspiring.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, not no glazing, but you and Jarvis have it in you. I've seen how hard of a worker you are, and we're definitely gonna get to it because you've been on the internet for 14 probably years, almost 15 years, and I've seen you never stop working. So usually like Rug, I had a similar conversation with Rug. He's like, I get it from my dad, and like everyone, usually that's the case where there's someone that you learn that from. So before you became a YouTuber, who was FaZe, not Kay, right? Who was FaZe? Like, did you what were your hobbies? What kind of stuff were you into?
Mate, my whole life I've been into gaming. So before I was even like FaZe Kay, I was really good at Halo 3.
Okay.
And in school, I was like, one weekend I qualified 4th in Europe for some tournament. And then there on out for the rest of school, I was like, that's the 4th best in Europe Halo kid. And I was like, the whole time at school, I'm like,
really?
I'm just a Halo kid now.
Halo kid.
But no, I was always a huge gamer, like massive gamer. I wasn't allowed a PlayStation or Xbox until I was like, I think like 12 or something. So before then I was big in outdoors. Then I was like I've missed out so much Xbox. I was like so addicted to it, just didn't get off it.
Did you play sports?
I played a lot of tennis growing up. I did taekwondo for a bit. My aunt, he's a tennis coach, so I really like tennis a lot. But I'm not, even for being from England, I'm not big into playing football, which is not typical.
Yeah.
But that's just how I grew up, and again, just huge gamer. Like every hour or second I could be on Halo 3, I would be on Halo 3. Yeah.
But you spent the years before that outdoors surviving on a can of beans, you said. It's a big
type of thing.
It's a big switch.
Yeah.
That's good though. You got that experience. Honestly, that's something I wish I had in me. Like I went on like a camping trip once. They called it primitive camping.
Oh, nice.
It's not for me, buddy. I'm in the mountains. We're in a tent.
Where was it?
Freezing. It was here somewhere in California.
Oh, that's nice.
There was literally nobody else on the mountain.
Yeah.
And it's just not for me.
Oh, fair, yeah. No, that makes sense.
I can't do anything. I can't help. I'm just sitting there.
No, I do love it.
One of my friends that actually took us on that trip, he recently went to like Alaska, like at the Outdoor Boys, like you said.
Man.
He literally was going around Alaska by himself and just going into cabins and dragging wood. He posted on a story. I'm like, no way. Like, I respect it, but I can't believe you guys would throw yourself in these situations where you're absolutely freezing. And
no, I mean, Alaska is like, I would love to do that.
Yeah, I could see you. That's what I'm saying. When you're saying that you're going out and you just love to just go do wilderness stuff. Maybe you'll have a content arc with doing that, no?
Yeah, no, I really will. I've been Gustavo, Tommy's little brother.
Yeah.
Like, so he's my good friend. He lives in Vegas with me. We work together, and we're thinking about that.
Really?
Like getting it, yeah.
Whoever doesn't know, by the way, Tommy's brother came from Brazil. What, like 5 years ago at this point?
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah.
And he just like randomly came. Tommy just brought him randomly, and like now he lives in Vegas. Does he live with you?
Near me. He works with me, but yeah.
He works with Kay and he lives in Vegas. It's so cool. It's so random. I always forget, like, because I knew Tommy for like a decade before I realized he had a brother. You know what I'm saying? And then he came, and his brother's awesome.
Trust.
Cool. Did you have any jobs that you did before YouTube?
Yeah, my mum made me get a job when I was like a Saturday job when I was like 15. So I had to work in one of my uncle's restaurants every Saturday as a waiter.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, do you have like
Yeah.
vivid memories of
I
that?
mean, I remember just running there after playing COD and running home to play COD afterwards. Like,
Yeah, so it was all surrounded.
and everything in
though.
between is just like suppressed. No, but it was a great experience, like having to work when you're a kid. Like, I'm gonna make sure my kid, when they're like 15, gets a weekend job.
Yeah.
For like 2 hours on a Saturday. It did teaches you a lot of discipline and like working and stuff. But it was cool to work for my uncle's restaurant. You got free pizza at the end of it.
Every day.
Just go home, every Saturday. Yeah.
Take the pizza and go play Halo.
Yeah.
That's nice.
At that point, it was Modern Warfare 2, actually.
It was what?
Modern Warfare 2 at that
Oh,
point.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Even better.
Trust.
That game. You
Bro.
like MW2 more than Halo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, for me, yeah.
You have to say yeah.
No, I do, yeah.
That was our era.
No, absolutely.
I never played Halo 3 to be honest though, so I missed out on that. But after the, pizza and all that, when did you get into content creation? You were into gaming for a while, but when did you decide to start recording it or
Like my face.
just your gaming? Yeah.
I mean, it's
all
a
of
funny
it.
story because that involves you, actually. But no, I would make a lot of montages for years. Like, even like when I was doing that, I was just making montages, like rock music, opener, closer, filler clips, like the standard sort of stuff we were doing. But I'll never forget when I joined FaZe Clan. I don't even know if you remember this, but Banks recruited me to FaZe, and you called me up and you were like, "Yo, okay, congrats on joining FaZe." It was like, we're actually pivoting into more face cam type stuff. So like the rock montage you're doing are great, but let's do more of the other stuff. I was like, oh.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
remember that. But it's
Yeah.
good though, because I was like, absolutely, I'm going to do that. And pivoted to more like IRL/COD stuff. And that was a big pivotal moment for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I'm glad. Hey, I'm glad I called you. I mean, I have memory. You're one of the people that are like my earliest memories in FaZe. What year did
Yeah.
you join?
2013.
Okay, so
Yeah.
at that point, when I was talking to Tico, I was realizing like every year felt like 5 years. So like
Yeah.
2011 to 2013 is a huge, like I was in FaZe for 2 years, but it feels like 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now like 2 years ago, I can't even remember. Like 2 years now feels like nothing, but
Trust.
the beginning every year was like,
Yeah.
So you didn't join necessarily super early.
No.
Like, in terms of like the OG.
Uh-huh.
But I went to Europe with my brother in 2014. And I just remember like we were stuck at an airport. We missed our flight. It was a horrible story. Like
Yeah.
we're at the airport like 4 hours early.
I remember that.
And we're sitting at the gate, and then we're waiting, and we go to check in, and then our ticket goes beep, and it's like, oh, you're at the wrong gate. We're there for like 3 hours at the gate. Sprint across the airport. We get there, the doors are closed. Then we had to like buy brand new tickets.
Yeah.
We sat at the airport for like 20 hours.
I remember that.
It was horrible,
Yeah.
right? But I remember we literally slept. We ended up in Heathrow,
Yeah.
and I was sleeping in the airport, and you were like, "Please come." You're like, "I'll send you a taxi. Come over, sleep at my house." And I remember like, this is kind of early on, so like I barely even met people at this point. And I remember like, dude, this guy is so like hospitable, like so generous. Like you were like so genuine too. Like, please come over. And I was like, no way. I remember looking at the taxi was like $400 or £400 to go. I'm like, dude, that is crazy. It was like some crazy like number, and I was like, no way. But I remember I almost went to your house really early on. But
that would have been sick.
I remember that memory, and like from then, like all I remember about you early on was like how nice you were. Like you were just always so positive and nice early on. And thankfully you traveled. Not a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Especially from the UK.
Trust.
So like I love that you came to events. Like I was going through
Yeah.
your channel too, and dude, first off, what you were saying, like you just made you never stopped making content.
Yeah.
Like montages to the face cam stuff, like you said, but like
trust.
you came at like that is not an easy thing to go travel across the world.
Yeah. No, bro.
You came early. You came to the
Trust.
events right away.
That
You're like,
Anaheim one. Like, I remember my first vlog, I was like shaking. I was like so scared. I was like that, bro.
Yeah, we
Well,
all
but-
were, bro.
yeah.
If you watch back the Anaheim vlogs,
Bro, we actually on my stream the other day. There's a clip of me and Adapt in the back of a car talking, and you can just see the nervousness in me. Like, it was great. But
yeah,
it was,
you were definitely
it's
more.
how you get it out.
You're more quiet early on.
I was always a very quiet guy.
Yeah,
But no, it was good. The traveling and just speaking to you guys on Discord, obviously Banks, who I know, meeting you guys in real life, I was like, whoa. I remember after Anime, I was like, this is what I want to do.
yeah. Having that realization is like
Yeah.
you were in business school before,
At that point, I was in, we call it college, but
Yeah.
it's actually,
high school.
sorry, yeah, you call it college, but for us, it's actually high school.
Okay.
So I never went to like college or university.
Yeah.
But I did like a sixth form, we call it, and then a bit of college game development, and I was in college at that time.
And then were you were in phase at the point where you decided to stop?
Yeah, so I actually remember this. I was in college and I joined FaZe. I was in OpTic at the start of college, then joined FaZe, and then I'll never forget because I was in games development class. My Photoshop teacher somebody in my class was like, "Do you know Frazier got this much money from donations in his stream today?" Why are you saying this?
Pocket watching.
Yeah. And then my teacher literally comes up, pulls me aside. He's like, "Frazier, like, is this real? His name's Barrington. Is Barrington lying?"
Barrington?
Yeah,
that must be a British name. I've never heard of
it was this
him.
kid in my college, bro. I didn't have, I was like alone in that college. But anyway, the teacher was like, "Yeah, you could go home now, and I'm gonna help you finish your coursework because, like, you know, you're making more money than I am." And I was like, "What?"
Really?
When your teacher says that to you, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like really?" And then the news kind of spread around my college, and like my college actually supported my YouTube journey, which is insane.
Wow.
I usually be like, "Get your coursework done." And then my coding teacher literally pulled me aside one day and he was like, "I can see you're struggling. I know you're putting a lot of time into this extracurricular, YouTube adventure, whatever. So I'm going to help you right now with your coursework." And like sat down and coded with me to get a C. Yeah.
The hell you guys got going on over there in the UK?
Yeah, very.
I feel like over here it's literally the opposite.
No,
like Adapt was telling me a story of how his teacher was literally like making fun of him, and they get jealous here.
Yeah.
Everyone's story that I've heard is
crazy.
the opposite.
I think so. I was doing games development. Like we were literally on Epic, like making the game. So it
On
was
Epic?
Yeah, like you
Really?
remember Epic? What's that thing called? Unreal Engine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we used to like use that, make games.
I remember playing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but no, that's
Okay. I guess maybe that's why they're a little more open to it.
yeah, exactly. And then also what they did is they wrote an article about me, so it was good PR for the college.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
That makes
So,
sense. Yeah.
so-
You mentioned just quickly that you were an OpTic at the beginning. Like that's how
Yeah.
many people maybe don't know you were an OpTic and SoaR, right?
Oh yeah, Obey, OpTic, and SoaR.
Obey OpTic SoaR phase.
Yeah.
You got like the all the what is it called? The Avengers Infinity Stone. Yeah, dude, it's because I always talk about on my gaming channel, like people ask if I was in SoaR. I'm like, bro, I joined FaZe the day before SoaR was created. That's how old I am. But you were an OpTic. Honestly, I wish I was an OpTic one.
Forgot that.
What?
I just forgot SoaR was made after FaZe.
Yeah, oh yeah, no. SoaR was made. I joined FaZe March 6, 2011. SoaR's channel was open March 7, 2011.
Damn.
So yeah, it's old. But so for me, it was TSU, then Dare, then FaZe. That was the older route.
Yeah.
And then you were like SoaR.
Yeah,
OpTic was not part of that route because it was different.
Yeah, exactly.
But they had a sniping
You
team at the
couldn't-
time.
Yeah, you had a sniping
obviously.
team, but you could have joined FaZe from OpTic. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
But-
mean?
Like there was this like weird rule where it was like if you're in FaZe or if you're in OpTic, FaZe can't recruit you, right?
Really?
I swear.
I don't remember this.
Like because of Pomage or something.
Of course. I was gonna say Pomage didn't follow that rule.
Yeah, no, true.
Pomage has joined both like 3 times now.
Yeah. A significant team before Obey though was Million. Do you remember that Zerka's team?
Oh yeah, you were in Zerka's team too.
Yeah.
That's so
Bro,
sick.
he randomly tweeted me like the GOAT, trick shot GOAT. And I
Dude,
was like,
Zerka, people that watch Assignment maybe don't realize that Zerka was one of the OG sniper like montage creators.
he is the GOAT.
He is. Zerka's awesome. I want to get him on the show.
That'd
He
be
actually
sick.
messaged me about it. I appreciated it because he randomly messaged me like saying he would like to see what I was doing. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come to London and get all those guys if I can. But
That'd be sick.
Zerka's one of the original goats.
Absolutely.
You know, you guys kind of linked us with them when we did the Sidemen stuff too, like way later on. That was so fun. Looking
Oh,
back, how
yeah.
fun were those collabs?
Bro, that was
We did
so
the
sick.
soccer, the football
Bro.
penalty
Do you know how
shootout.
much stick I got for that collab, bro?
Oh yeah,
Because I'm from England. I'm so bad at football.
you and Jarvis,
Mate.
you and Jarvis,
Mate.
you and Jarvis did not show up.
That was tragic.
That was tragic.
Tragic, bro.
That was fun, dude. Remember how long we were kicking those penalties for?
Yeah.
that took forever.
And I'm also wearing like a full off-white football kit, and I don't know how to kick a ball. It's like the cringiest thing, bro.
That's
It's
so
like,
funny.
When I was a kid, man, it was crazy.
Don't worry, Adapt's got his. Adapt's cringe is enough for everyone. But then we did the MW2 thing versus. That was fun. That was such a fun collab.
That was
man.
a cool video.
And then we did some Among Us with them. Remember?
Yeah, we did. Those are good days, Among Us.
Yeah, but Zerka had his own team, Million.
Yeah.
And OpTic, being an OpTic is so legendary. Honestly,
Yeah,
I went
trust.
and I visited OpTic's headquarters and I filmed with Hex. I was like, dude, Hex is just
Yeah.
literally. I know we use the GOAT for everyone, but Hex,
No,
man,
yeah, exactly.
he's got to be the GOAT. I swear. 2009, since 2008, I think he's been doing this, or even earlier.
Yeah.
It's
I
insane.
know, I do remember him back in the day being like, when he kicked all of us from OpTic for sniping. And I love Hex, right? He kicked us. He was like, yeah, we're kicking you for montages because, you know, the pro team, Merck's gone big timers, whatever, blowing up. He was like you were saying, the following years, it's like the face cam, the personality stuff's going to be great. It was like OpTic creates the path everybody follows. I'll never forget you said that.
Up to create
And
about
then,
face
like,
cams and stuff.
Yeah, just about face cams and stuff. And he dropped all of us, and I was like, all right, bet I'm gonna grind for FaZe now. Like, there's nothing else to do other than.
How soon after did you join? Do you remember?
It actually wasn't too long. Luckily, I was in SoaR for 2 weeks. Like I was 2 weeks solo, 2 weeks in SoaR, then in FaZe.
Wow, that's you had a legendary path for sure. So at that point, you must have been making decent money when you dropped out of your school. Again, if your teacher came up to you and said,
Yeah.
Do you
So,
remember
I mean,
like your first big paycheck? Like, how much were you making around that time?
specifically when you're talking about the streaming, it was about £5,000 a month from the streaming stuff, which is insane. It's like more than my friends get their jobs.
I don't even remember you streaming back then.
Yeah, it was on. I used to stream on the FaZe Clan MLG.tv.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Those were when I was streaming heavy. But my first early like YouTube check that was like big was the bottle flip one.
The bottle flip. I was telling him before, like I was looking through his channel. Kay has never stopped. I mentioned this already in the podcast, making content, but he went from the montages to the face cam, and he just kept going till something stuck. So you had a bottle flip era.
Yeah.
Well, I think one video exploded and you just kept going.
Yeah.
But by the way, that's how you do YouTube. I always say the best way is when something pops off, you just got to find a way to keep reiterating it without making it repetitive.
Like a snowball going down a hill, getting bigger. And
so you did the bottle flip for how long?
until the comments didn't let me do it.
How did you make off the bottle flipping? Did you remember?
No, the thing is, I actually enjoyed it a lot. Like, me and my friends were bottle flipping. It was like a big trend. Jarvis got really good at it.
Of course.
And then there was just so many variations of bottle flips. You like bottle flip from this high, landing it on the cap, bottle flip versus my brother, bottle flip versus Fred. Like, bro, it's endless. And like, it was really good fun. And I managed to get, from a YouTube check back then, it was $30,000.
Oh, wow.
And I remember showing my mom, and I was like, yo, like, I'm going to make it.
That's crazy. What year was that?
That was before I moved to LA with Banks. So that's about 2016, 2017.
Damn. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, again, like you're only in FaZe for 3 years at that point, but I swear to God, I'm telling you guys, at that point, that felt like probably 10 to 15 years of making content already. And then, so you had that whole era of Call of Duty, and then because that feels like a long time of like trying to find the next thing, but 3 years is not that long.
Yeah. I was really good, really sticking it with Linksy during those 3 years as well.
I saw on your channel to a lot of like dual tages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Linksy also traveled out to some of the events.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we would collab, make videos. But
shout out to Linksy,
mate. Big shout out to Linksy.
And Zimmer.
He's a dad.
Yeah, I caught up with him recently.
Nice.
We played Black Ops 2 together for my gaming channel.
No way.
Linksy's the GOAT, man.
That's
such a
sick.
good dude. He's such a good dude, and he's still making content. He's still streaming.
Yeah.
He said he's a dad. He's just always been one of the nicest guys ever.
Oh, mate, he's an absolute
You
legend.
and him both, and Zimmer from the UK.
Yeah.
Zimmer didn't really come to events, but we met him in the UK
Yeah,
too.
we did. Yeah. No, they're good lads.
I went there once to Gfinity in like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
I gotta go back though. I haven't been back. All I hear about is how amazing the food is, and how you gotta come, and not British food.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, you're talking about British food?
Not British food.
I don't hear that.
Not British food. Like the Indian food there.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The other food.
The food that's made by everybody else in England is
I want to try the spuds.
The spuds, bro.
Every day I'm looking on TikTok.
Don't get the tuna.
I'm not getting the tuna.
Who
the
gets
tuna?
Hey, I would never put tuna on a spud, bro. That is crazy.
I would never get the tuna. I'd get like chicken and cheese,
some beans
or
and
even just the beans. I'll go for the beans.
Beans and cheese on a spud.
I'll go for the beans on the spud, but not with the breakfast with the eggs. Like no. You don't eat the egg. You don't eat the British breakfast?
Potato. Oh no, wait, like the English breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd slap that. But you have to like, it's about like cutting up like a little bit from each thing and having it on a fork. Like you don't eat the egg and then the bacon and then the beans. It's like a combination.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
I think the beans are so random. But to be fair, like even in Arabic, like we have beans for breakfast. It's just not those types of beans.
Yeah, and Mexicans have got beans.
Yeah, there's just different ways of making it. So I guess it's not that insane. Yeah. And just the plate kind of looks crazy.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does.
It's okay. I was talking to Tico too about the Swedish. You know the canned tuna that smells really bad?
Yeah, bro.
Every culture, dude, you should see the stuff my dad would eat growing up. My dad would eat because my dad's like a village. Like they're villagers.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Literally dirt poor villagers. So they would eat anything they can.
Yeah.
So whenever they'd like have like let's say they'd get a lamb and whatever, they would eat every part of the body. Like, I'm telling you, eyeballs, brain, ears.
That's funny.
They eat like
that is crazy.
Other parts of the body that you would not expect people to eat. They'll eat everything.
That reminded me a story about my dad. Like when my dad first came to the UK and he was still like, had the Nepalese culture in him. My mum took him out to like a really nice restaurant, and my dad, after he finished the chicken, just starts eating the bones. And my mum was like, "You can't do that here. Can't do that."
Yeah, it's so funny.
You had to like culturize him for the UK.
Dude, when I was young, I like was embarrassed of that. You know, like how much my dad was just not super. There's just a few moments, and now when I get older, I'm like, dude, it's like I love it. Yeah. I love the farmer in him. That is just like
that's cool.
You know, like it's. I love it. I love that part of my culture. Dude, I have a story. Like my dad, I grew up in a pretty nice area, right, in California. But like I've talked about this multiple times. Not like super well off, but like it was just paycheck to paycheck. But like it all went into like living in a nice area. So my dad had a really old car. There's this story me and my brother have. Like he'd come in this really old car to pick us up from school, and he probably doesn't even know this. Don't worry, don't get sad now because you know I don't care now. But I feel bad thinking about it. But like we used to be like embarrassed of his car picking it. It was like middle school, like 6th grade. Everyone's coming in. All these brand new nice cars. He has like this really old car. Yeah. And I just remember one day he picked us up and like he'd pick us up like off to the side. Maybe because I think we probably told him to because we didn't want it, which is messed up. But whatever, we're getting in the car and he's like, get in quick, close the door. And we get in and there's like a bird in the car flying around. What? I don't know how the hell it happened, but he was like, he got a bird in the car and he was trying to show us. I'm like, dude.
He's trying to keep it in the car.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but like I was trying to he grew up hunting birds and catching birds and like that's part of their culture, you know what I mean?
That's cool.
But looking back, like I love all those things now, but it's just funny growing up. Like it's different with your mom, but like you're like embarrassed. Like every time I go out with my dad, we're like, oh, he's gonna say something crazy. But like, dude, honestly,
trust.
As I got older, I'm like, that's what makes you love them even more. Yeah, that's the best part of people when they're just themselves.
You get to an age, you're like, wow, like I actually love him for that. Yeah, it just flips.
The bones thing's hilarious. I can definitely see my dad.
Yeah, I can see. I didn't know that about your dad. That's funny.
No, but
they probably get along.
Yeah, but my dad is definitely not the nature type like me. So actually, see, I don't know. He did. He used to tell me actually when he was little, he'd literally like, take the sheep out to graze and stuff. Man. They had some. And he randomly dropped it once that he would like help them give birth. They'd like pull out the babies from while they're giving birth. I'm like, what the? I'm like, you did that? He's like, yeah, of course. It's normal. I'm like, damn. Where the hell did all that go? Because he's not coming for that guy now. But he used to be like that. But that's why it's cool to go back. I love to go back. Yeah. Now it's like the village he grew up in. I love it. It's so small and so like simple.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to push you to go to Nepal.
Yeah, I will. I'll get Jarvis.
So the bottle flip thing was a big turn in your career. Yeah, because that's when you probably made real money for the like. Mm-hmm. Anything you made is a blessing at that point. But to make $30K in a month, when you make a check like that, it opens your eyes like, oh my god, hold on, like seriously, it's doable. Yeah, it's also like if you're making montages and you're like steady making 2-3K, you're still happy with that, and you always convince yourself you can't be the guy that's making crazy money, but to have that one. You hit one viral trend and you make money like that. Probably changed the way you looked at YouTube after that. You stopped gaming really after that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I would still live stream every day, but I'd focus a lot more on other videos, and it helped me understand trends. Like Kayless, actually a good friend of mine. I saw his video. It's like it had just helped me understand the game of YouTube a bit more and to be less. I don't know what the word is. Like take yourself back a bit and don't be so obsessive over small things, Yeah. It really helped me out a lot, yeah.
So after that, you started doing challenge videos a little more?
Yeah.
Pranks and stuff?
A lot of challenge videos, a lot of pranks. That's when I fully started. Like, I got a camera. My mum lent me her old camera and I'd vlog just... Because Jarvis was at school and Jarvis was my whole video, so I'd start vlogging when I pick him up from school.
I was going to say, I could picture him in his uniform. Yeah, bro. He used to vlog at his school.
True. So I'd pick him up from school and like prank him, picking him up, or like... do something. Yeah, I did some savage pranks to Jarvis back then.
It's so funny. Yeah. Dude, it's so cool because you literally could see Jarvis. What do you think? What was the youngest age he was on camera? You could see him. I could think like maybe even 9, 10 years old?
Yeah, I would say 9.
So crazy.
Yeah.
He looks the same. Just as a little kid though. Yeah,
trust.
Still got his
just less of a chubby face.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. That's so cool to look back at though. So you were making, again, like people that maybe think you guys just started like in the Fortnite eras when you started making content. But
yeah.
from the beginning. You had like
the very
Jarvis was trick shotting on Black Ops 2 in your videos.
Yeah.
He was like
The trick shot race.
Jarvis was a beast at trick shotting too, of course.
Bro,
He's one of
yeah.
those guys, man. He's just talented at anything he does.
He really
He's the
is.
bottle flipping.
Trust.
Obviously boxing, we see him now. We'll get to that.
Like
I'm
when he was
sure.
a kid, tennis, he was like very good at.
Really?
He could have been like semi-pro.
He's like a, I don't know what the word is, but like there's these people that are just experts in everything they do.
Yeah.
Like Jarvis is one of them. You know who else? Brawny. I think Brawny is like that too. I forgot. You know, you've met him a few times too. He's such a good kid.
Yeah.
But I forgot what exactly happened. But like I just realized that one moment. Oh, okay, he's one of those kids. There was LeBron posted a video of him playing the piano. This kid just playing the piano like he's a professional. And I doubt he took piano lessons like that.
That's crazy.
See him on gaming. He's really good at.
Yeah, he is.
You know, he's actually really good at playing video games.
Yeah.
Obviously, basketball. He's a piano player. There's just a few people. Jarvis is one of them too. So.
I think it's LeBron James' son. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. So you ended up moving though, right, to LA.
Yeah.
And this was kind of, from my understanding, you moved without really a massive plan. Or maybe you were visiting and then you weren't planning on moving.
Yeah, it was a visit.
Yeah, so what was that like? Because a lot of your content did have Jarvis in it, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
So it's also a move away from Jarvis.
I was stressing.
And you moved at an interesting time where like we just moved, I think, from the New York house to LA house.
Exactly, yeah.
And Banks was kind of like out of the fold of what we were doing.
Yeah, he was.
And you moved to visit him, right?
Yeah, Banks asked me, he was like, yeah, come and visit. I've got a room for you. I was like, wow, okay. I got a plane ticket. I knew Nikon was there and Nick was there. That's why I didn't know, like,
That's
Gage,
so
Drew,
looking
Zach.
back, that's so crazy.
Yeah, and like I was just with Gage and Zach, and like they're now my best friends. But yeah, I remember showing up to this house, and I was like looking up, and I was like, "This is the house." Well,
It was the Clout House, right?
yeah.
Same one?
And I get in, I go up an elevator, and I was like, "Yo, I'm like tripping out. Like, where am I?"
Yeah.
And get to the fourth floor of some house, see Zach and Gage up there. The rest is but I was shocked. It was a trip. I was there for like a month and a half, and at the end of it, he was like, Banks was like, yeah, come back, just keep coming back as much as you can. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not do that.
So you did go back to the UK?
Yeah, I had to go because it was only like a 2-3 week trip. As soon as I went back, I was coming right back there.
Yeah.
Because I'm Canadian as well, so Canadians can stay for like 6 months. In
Oh, I
America.
didn't realize.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot easier. Like Tico, I was talking, the visa problems are real. Like it's hard to get a visa.
Really hard.
And even when you get it, you got to renew it. Like his is already up for renewal.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you got a full Canadian citizenship.
Yeah. Canadian. I'm a dual citizen, same as Jarvis and Chandler.
So you don't even have to worry about any American green card, anything like that.
Oh no, so I have a visa still on my Canadian passport, but I get as a tourist if I want to just tour here 6 months out the year versus the 3 on my English passport,
Okay.
and that's pretty strict.
Is it still like that?
Yeah.
Oh, so you can only be here for 6 months a year.
No, because now I have a visa. But
Oh,
back then
sorry.
I didn't have
Okay,
a visa.
okay.
Yeah, I just renew it every 3 years.
Oh, okay, cool. And it's easy to get it renewed because you're Canadian.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
and still working in the same industry, and like nothing's really changed.
Yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah.
So how did you end up deciding to fully move here?
It was Banks for sure. I mean, I wouldn't be here without Banks. I definitely want to say that for sure. He gave me an insane opportunity. I think it was like Zach and Gage as well. It was like, even though I was getting like 50K views a day on my videos, I would just post every day and like do whatever I could just to make a video. Obviously not having Jarvis there, that's when I started like, because my vlogs were always me plus someone else, which is what they're trying to go to. So I try to get Banks in it. Nikon, Nick were great to film with back then. Really helped my content. I was even bottle flipping when I went there at the start. Still for a bit.
Shout out to the bottle flips.
Yeah.
I think one thing that people, again, another thing people maybe don't know, but you had like an era where you were working with RiceGum, right?
Yeah.
Is assistant the right word?
I mean, he doesn't like that word. I don't. Technically, yeah, but it wasn't like Rice wasn't like to me. You're my assistant. Work with me. Like, me and him
but you were like his right hand.
yeah, really good, really like close friends. I'd say it's one of my best friends.
And that was obviously like Clout House era. That was when Rice was like at his peak, maybe.
yeah, and like it was also a kind of weird situation because back then there was corporate people in charge of things.
At that point, they were trying to merge.
Yeah, well,
with RiceGum, right? They're all part of the.
And they had kicked out Nikon and Nick from the house, and I was like so scared. I was like, just moved out here.
Oh wow!
I don't want
really?
to get kicked out.
Oh really?
So I like, and Rice, obviously, the legend he was, Rice really put his foot down and said like, no, Kay's going to stay in the house and provide value for me, with me. So it was like almost like a trade-off. Getting the chance to live there and make my own videos, I help out Rice.
Cool.
Like, I never was paid by Rice or anything like that. I would never want to.
Yeah.
He actually taught me everything I know about YouTube.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just from working with him. But no, it was intense because he was obviously at a huge peak. He was in a lot of drama.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And like, bro, he would like pace up and down his room and just like talk so quick, and I had to like type up everything he
so
said.
fast, dude.
Bro.
Yeah.
And like, I would get so scared when I like mistype or like lose what he's saying. I'd be like,
yeah.
Rice, I'm so sorry. Can you go back a bit? Like, it was intense, bro.
No,
the
right.
iDubbbz drama was like intense. Bro.
Oh my god, yeah. There's that. There's obviously the diss tracks. Boosie Doobie had some drama with him.
There was some days of that iDubbbz stuff where like I moved my desk into his room and all my laptop, and I would sleep on his love sack for like 3-4 hours, wake up, and he'd still be cracked out, like getting the video done. You got to make like an hour-long video in like a few days.
Dude, the YouTube drama back then.
It's crazy.
The
bro.
juice it brought everyone too was insane.
Yeah.
Around the same time, Jake Paul and Banks had their huge drama.
Yeah, they did.
That
exactly.
era had a lot. That was like all YouTube drama, raps, and all this stuff.
Like non-stop, just like something crazy's going on.
That was 2016, right? Or 17?
Oh,
No.
17
Sorry, that
and
was 17.
18.
17,
for
18.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, those 3 years were like the peak of YouTube, I swear.
Yeah, they were.
2016 to like 18. That's really cool. There's a lot of experience, like you just said, even having that perspective of just like being around people, learning from them. Because at that point, again, you're like 4 or 5 years into FaZe. You know, you're ready like to not have like a an ego or be too arrogant to be down to do something like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
it's a big opportunity. Like a lot of people take things like that for granted. So it's cool that you had that.
Learned a lot from him. Very smart guy.
Rice is amazing, man. I was just really trying to get him on this too, but he's like, I'm sorry, I'm just not on the internet right now. But he just had a kid too recently.
Yeah.
I've been so happy for him too. And
Same.
he said it. He said if he ever comes back to the internet, he's down.
Nice.
But he's such a nice guy, dude. Rice is one of the nicest people I've met through this thing too.
Absolutely. 100%.
Like actually, even at that era, he was never like cocky, arrogant. Like even when he was the biggest name
Exactly.
on YouTube, like never, he was never that guy.
Yeah, and he kind of taught me about how to, because obviously coming from if you look at his videos, a lot of people could think, oh, that's,
Yeah.
but like that's what kind of he taught me without even knowing he was teaching me. It's like when the camera goes on, it's like he goes from being Brian to Rice.
He had
like
a character,
that. Yeah, and like it was very impressive.
Yeah. Like not everyone I would say is famous, but he's one of the people that I'm sure
Right.
to this day, wherever he goes, people are like.
100%.
And he was huge streaming on MLG TV too. People don't know that,
Yeah,
but
he was.
it's really cool, man.
These kids must be stopped. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many eras to YouTube that we lived through.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
So cool. It's so fun to look back. I get like I've talked about this, but I don't want to say get depressed. I don't know what the feeling I get is, but I get like sad sometimes looking back.
No, yeah.
You don't appreciate it when you're in it, man.
It's a nice sadness though, in a way. You know
It's
what
a
I'm
nice
saying?
sadness,
It's not like
exactly.
you miss it. It's like you're happy you did it.
Yeah, I look back. I can't believe we did some of the stuff we did. Yeah.
And what's beautiful is that we get to just see our life. Like, bro, someone asked me like, oh, when did you pass your driving test? And I was like, I made a video about that. Searched up FaZe Kay driving test. Just found the date.
So cool.
Like that. Like,
So
you
cool.
can just see everything.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And then you and Jarvis in 10 years from now are going to be showing your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
When Jarvis was 9 in your videos. And
It's knocking
so
out
cool.
highlights. And
Yeah.
stuff.
And then, okay, speaking of Jarvis, like obviously, I'd say one of the peaks that you had was when Jarvis came and the whole Fortnite era happened, of course, right?
Absolutely,
So what do you remember when it like popped? We're like, okay, you got back to Fortnite came out in 2018, 2019 is when it really got big, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Did Jarvis come to LA? Did you go back home and make content with him, or like?
It's actually funny. It includes Rice as well. So it was a transition between me working with Rice to just going full time YouTube. I flew back to LA one day. Basically, I'd go back to London, film in a week, like 20 videos of Jarvis, then go back to LA and work for Rice, not film anything, and post those videos, and then fly back to England, film, fly back to LA.
Okay.
There was one day where I flew back to LA and I got my Wi-Fi after being on the plane. I was like, what? Like the video was blowing up. And I got back home and I was like, yo, Rice, like this is crazy. Like I really think that I can make a big, I can kind of do it. And I'm just like, do you mind if I get a flight back today?
Literally the day you landed?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So he obviously wasn't going to say no. Like he's a legend. And I remember telling him that. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go back today and just film these videos. So I went back to England and filmed all the videos of Jarvis playing Fortnite in school, which blew up a lot.
Yeah.
And then from then onwards, it was just because like whenever I posted a video and I saw like per minute the amount of views it was, I was like, yo, like this isn't slowing down.
Dude, the fact that you landed and flew back same day,
Yeah.
that's so crazy. I didn't know that story.
Really, yeah.
That's commitment, because like I know that feeling of when you
Yeah.
feel like, oh my God, I got something here.
Yeah. It was a video. It was like this 15-year-old was the best Fortnite kid in the world or something like that.
So he was 15 at the time. Okay, because within a year, you got Jarvis in LA.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably less than that.
Yeah, even before he was in FaZe, he was technically
You
like,
moved into the house.
yeah.
So how did that how soon after? Okay, so you went back to LA same day.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just dialed in on Fortnite with Jarvis.
Yeah, dialed in on Fortnite with Jarvis. And then when I went back to LA, I remember a very significant phone call I had with my mum, and we've spoken about this a lot. But I took him out there for 2 weeks, and my mum agreed because he was in college at the time, or like high school. Sorry,
yeah.
he was in high school. Took him out there, and I remember having a huge argument with my mum because I was like, I think he's just gonna stay. Like he's doing so good.
Yeah.
She was like, you're kidnapping my son.
No
And
way.
I was like, you know, we just argued with my mum, and I was like,
She said you're kidnapping my
yeah,
son.
and I was like, no, he's gonna be so big. Like Jarvis is gonna be bigger than me. I said Jarvis is gonna be bigger than FaZe. He's gonna be bigger than everything. I was just like trying to convince her.
Yeah.
But I genuinely did see a big vision with Jarvis. Like I always did, like the brother bond, and then him specifically. And then she allowed him to stay for a bit longer.
Okay.
And but obviously he's a like 14, 15-year-old kid in LA. Like,
Yeah.
she was so worried, bro.
Yeah. Well, first off, with school, did he like pause school? Or was he doing it
so
online?
that's a bit of a graze. Yeah, he definitely did just like kind of pause it a bit.
Okay. And she was okay with that? Was she worried
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, she was, especially, you know, because like growing up, it was very important to us to be good academically. But yeah, it was definitely a worry of hers. But I guess because I had made some money doing it, it wasn't like a huge shot in the dark, like, oh, he may or may not make an income. It was just about how long it was going to last. And there was like a small period transition, and then she was fully supportive of it.
Okay.
I think once she saw like what actually he was doing and had the potential to do.
Yeah. I mean, either way, even if you had a successful career already,
Yeah.
obviously you can't blame her for being skeptical.
No
yeah.
way. No way.
So I think that point though, of him coming as a 15-year-old, like, because I know what goes on in LA, even in that house, the Clout House too, right?
Right.
There's a lot of drugs around LA and
Yeah,
drinking
exactly.
and partying. And so how did, like, again, I look at you genuinely as like an older brother before anything, because
Yeah.
you're always, all I can remember is how much you literally care about Jarvis.
Yeah.
Like your focus is always on Jarvis.
Yeah.
And it's not like again, it's as an older brother first.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that.
Yep.
How did you feel bringing him around all that stuff?
I mean, mate, it was so no party was ever the same again because like,
Really?
we were obviously partying hard. You know, I was living with Banks, all that. We were going crazy, right? I remember the first party. I was like, "Yo, Jarvis is here somewhere." And then,
He was at the party at the house, because
yeah,
at the house
he's
you
at
guys
the
had
house,
parties
yeah,
all
yeah.
the time. Yeah.
And like, you know, in England when we grow up, like, you know, drinking age in England's 18, so you tend to start drinking slightly younger than 18. So like, it's not unnormal for someone like we're having this huge party and I can't find him, and I remember like causing like havoc. I was like, this party stops. Where's Jarvis?
No way.
Going crazy,
You
bro.
were
And he was
screaming
just
at the party.
yeah, he was just downstairs taking his toilet. He was like the most innocent kid,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just doing nothing.
You
but
were
no.
worried. You were worried like someone
Yeah, I was
took him somewhere.
Yeah,
Was
or
he-
he was just like, you know, getting involved in like some drugs or something bad. Like someone was influencing him to do
Yeah,
something
yeah,
I
yeah.
know he shouldn't do. Then after that, I was like, this is never going to be the same.
Yeah. So what happened after that? Would you lock him in the room when there was
No,
party?
no. He just chilled with us. It
Okay.
actually made me and Jarvis become a lot closer.
Okay.
Because I would like always have some sort of an eye on him. But then our friend group, like, you know, like Nikon, Zach Gage, Drew, all the guys like really helped look out for Jarvis as
That's
well
cool.
during that time.
Everybody looked at him as like a little brother.
Exactly, yeah.
Like that was what was cool about it. Like even obviously, you know, we're skipping. We'll get right back to it about when he joined FaZe. But I feel
Yeah.
like all of it, like I think of myself, like I definitely had some protective. I felt protective about Jarvis. Like
Trust.
we all had, you know, all the FaZe guys at least. You know, I'm not gonna speak for the corporate side. I mean, hopefully they did it at some point. But we all, I definitely felt there was like he's like the little. He felt like a little brother. Same with Heist Guy, right? Like when
Yeah,
Heist Guy was
exactly,
recruited, like.
yeah.
He's like the little brother. You know,
Trust.
you want to protect him and make sure.
Absolutely.
Especially Jarvis, like I remember the videos. I remember being in FaZe and seeing his videos of him trick shotting on your account and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So,
trust.
you know, from my perspective, because I remember you called me about recruiting Jarvis.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
What is the story from your perspective?
I remember asking you if we could have a meeting in an office. I can't remember what the meeting was about, but I had like a side motive of like showing you Jarvis's concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
And you had your MacBook, and I pulled up Jarvis's Twitch. You were like, he's got 1,000 viewers. And I was like, hell yeah, he does.
He had 1,000 at the time?
Yeah.
Concurrent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before he was in FaZe.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I remember it was not really much news. And then I was at Coachella with like Adapt, Charlotte, Tico, and you called me on like the second day of Coachella, and you were like, Frazier, like we want to recruit Jarvis. And I was like, whoa. He's like, yeah, can we do it on like Monday? And I'm like 2 days into a bender in Coachella, and I was like, I'm leaving right now.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I remember talking to you on the phone.
Yeah, right.
I don't remember details, and then I just remember taking him onto the balcony at the Clout House, and you had the plane flying over. Yeah, he had a plane flying over with a banner that said "Welcome to FaZe Jarvis" or something like that.
That was such a sick day.
That was really cool for me. Right, my perspective, like at that time, I was obviously very involved in like leading a lot of the efforts of like recruits and stuff.
Yeah.
Someone like Jarvis is literally the best case scenario for me. What a FaZe member is. Someone that obviously, first off, he's a brother of a FaZe member who's been in FaZe for so long, but he was a fan of FaZe.
Yeah.
And then, he grew up, he knows he is literally the vibe. And then he's starting to blow up. And it's always like, that's what FaZe always did really well, is like get someone like right as they're growing.
Yeah.
Then, like Tfue also, where
like
the rocket
accelerate
ship.
it. Yeah.
So it was like, I know, and he was in the house at the time. It was obviously a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
But that was really cool. That era, honestly, that house, and that was the last time we really all made content together. And like, the older vibe was still there.
Exactly,
right? Like, I know you guys moved into the other house, which we'll get to after, and there was content being made there. A lot of good content was made there.
That was more like, I don't know.
It was
scheduled.
It was a different energy too.
Yeah, exactly.
Even between all of us and like the company, it just felt different.
It was definitely
at that house, the Clout House in LA.
It's unfortunate, I think, when lots of money gets involved, things just
100%
causes just so many things go on, man.
100%. I think the Clout House was the last era of like.
It really was.
Felt genuine.
It did, yeah.
Like I would come to the house like once a week. I'd plan all the videos for the YouTube channel. We'd pull up. We'd have like scissors and Orba. And everyone would all be in the room,
bro. Trust.
And everyone would just be in a good mood, and we'd be recording. It was really fun.
That house with Orba, Tensor as well.
Tensor, yeah,
that was good fun.
So a lot of people cycled in that house, but
I still speak to Tensor. I really like Tensor.
Yeah, he's out here too.
Yeah, he is.
Faking clips still, but I love how people still reference that.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'll be honest with you guys. I was very happy to hear that Manscaped wanted to sponsor this podcast. I've been using them for years. Manscaped's Beard and Balls bundle helps with all-in-one grooming. With the Beard Hedger, you have over 20 adjustable settings, so you can have some customizable trimming. You can have it long like mine, or short and nasty like my old beard. And the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is an absolute beast for keeping your grooming on lock. Both tools are water resistant, so they're usable in the shower, making cleanup very easy. Both have up to 60 minutes of runtime. There's no rush at all to get done with your grooming needs. Manscaped has the skin-safe technology that helps minimize nicks and irritation so you can groom in peace. Manscaped offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you could try the Beard and Balls bundle completely risk-free. Don't cut corners on your grooming routine. Upgrade to the Beard and Balls bundle from Manscaped. Visit manscaped.com and use code FNF to get 20% off plus free shipping. Or, if you need it today, you can find Manscaped at a store near you. Stay fresh this season for everyone's sake. Level up your grooming game today. Stay fresh, stay smooth, and enjoy festival season like a legend. Thank you. Now let's get back to the show. But yeah, it was really cool when he joined. And from that moment, you just never stopped grinding. You and Jarvis had a dual channel. He was streaming. You guys are making videos on your own channels. Mm-hmm. At a certain point, you were helping with the FaZe channel as well. So how did you guys do all of that? And how did you not burn out, making that much content? And how did it affect you and Jarvis's relationship? You know what I mean? Like, cause you kind of became his, I don't want to say manager, but you're like his dad.
Yeah.
You just did everything for him.
Bro, trust. I feel like that. But no, it was Yusuf, one of the first guys back in the day when I was like running around, setting up the camera, doing all this. And he was like, Frazier, you need to hire an assistant. And I was like, what? Like someone that just works for me?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I got one, and then that's what really, once I saw that how much could be achieved just with somebody helping out little bits, I was like, whoa, you can do way more.
Yeah.
I don't need to do all this. So it definitely creating a team, like the team of people around you is super important. Obviously, if I'm doing everything, like, you know, you're a one-man army when you're a YouTuber growing up. Like we film our own videos, we edit them, we post them, we probably make the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So like having people to help out with everything was a big learning step for me. Banks helped with that when we moved into the Clybourne house. That's when I don't even want to say his name, but that's when I started working with
Sam.
Yes.
Yeah. Sam Pepper. I was gonna say, like, you had a good team, and that, you know, was your team also became a big problem for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, all this stuff natural, and we're definitely gonna touch on that. You know, of course, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are very curious about that whole. We'll get to that in a sec, but yeah, that's when he came into your life, right? Or whatever. You started making a team.
Yeah.
So it was good at the beginning, right?
Oh, it was
you
great.
guys were pumping out unbelievable amounts of content.
Yeah.
And like you said, even like with this show, I have thankfully a little team, but like it's so helpful to have help.
Like imagine you had to set all those cameras up and like.
I know, no. Shout out to these guys all here, 100%. Even like I'm still like uploading and thumbnail, like ideating thumbnails, all that. It's still like
I love that.
Me too. I can't even take myself out of some of it.
The ideation I love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the actual doing of some of it.
Like that's why for you, Jarvis it was probably more fun to just work on building Jarvis's stuff because you get to just literally you don't have to worry about you know.
And like something I always understood growing up is, you know, I don't want to use anybody else as an example, but like some people can almost feel like, oh, I'm the spotlight, I'm it. And like I always realized from the start, I'm like, yo, Jarvis is the star.
Yeah.
Like, Jarvis is the star. I'm his brother. You know, we get along, we do our things, but that's the star. So make sure he's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Another thing I respect, because you're right. A lot of people want to be the guy. They want to be the star of the show, and also definitely not like that. You know, coming from a guy who has a podcast, maybe it seems like I am, but I swear I hate it. I don't like the spotlight. But that's good. So at that era, I guess at like the peak of that, like all these channels, you guys. So you had multiple YouTube channels.
Yeah.
TikTok, you guys were huge on TikTok. I know it was before TikTok was monetized.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. You guys had brand deals flying everywhere, right? What else? Did you have any other revenue streams other than content and brand deals?
Content and brand deals, the mystery box company I was working with back then. But no, it was just like our YouTube channels, because of the amount of views we were getting, we're just pumping it in. Obviously, the brand deals that FaZe would bring us back then, like the selling your catalog of videos and stuff. Yeah,
so if you don't, I don't know how open you are to sharing numbers, but when you were making, like, at your peak on YouTube, all the channels combined, do you remember like what a really high month would be, what you guys would be bringing in? Obviously, before, you know, you have expenses.
Like just from the revenue.
Yeah, you have a team and you're splitting. Obviously, Jarvis has his. Yeah. So obviously, it's not all going into your pocket necessarily. But what was that?
The gross.
Yeah. What was that like company bringing in a month? All the channels that you were making, all the brand deals and everything.
If you're including like mine and Jarvis's companies, it would be like, I don't know, like 600 or 700K a month.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
That's including Twitch, because Jarvis was big on Twitch too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I don't like it. Like, we were very fortunate, very hardworking. There's a lot of things that led us to that. So like, I'm 100% extremely grateful to have ever.
We spoke about it leading up to this. You know, you did content every day for like a decade, trying until you found something that stuck. So definitely, you know, very, very, very well deserved. And again, Jarvis too, guy was a special talent. You know, like on Fortnite, dude, he was like he almost went to the World Cup. It's crazy. So I know. Annoying. I hate that story too.
Hopefully he can go. Maybe he can qualify again for something soon.
Yeah, if he gets unbanned. He's getting unbanned maybe soon, but definitely gonna talk to him about that.
Exactly.
But you know, he was almost a pro in Fortnite. If you want to, probably a pro, right? He was amazing at making content, streaming, and so you guys, it just was all clicking at that point. So to lead to what you said, right? You had a team, and then you kind of had one of the people on your team. I think also, unfortunately, like as humans, like when you're making that much money too, you kind of get just blind, like,
oh man,
you get kind of like blinded by it in a way too. Absolutely. Even myself, I look back to like I was never making that much, but even when I was, it's just very easy to get caught up in it, and you're just like, I gotta go, I gotta think of the next video, I gotta think of the next thing.
Exactly.
So definitely, obviously, the Save the Kids thing. Unfortunately, I feel like I feel really bad for you, because it's like the only, I don't want to say it's the only thing, but it's probably the main thing that you feel like people connect to you now, which is like you just had
it's unfortunate.
You had a decade career before that, right? Of like doing a lot of stuff, and it's like some sort of a stain, I guess, to put it.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to phrase it. I'm not, you know, hopefully it doesn't
like
come
a
off
taint,
a taint, right? So clearly, from your perspective, you know, it was a very rough thing for you, right?
That was crazy.
I guess to just lay the context for me, like for FaZe, this was a huge. Like I feel like FaZe never recovered from the Save the Kids thing, and it's like FaZe members were involved, and we could say, oh, FaZe had nothing to do with it. But the thing about FaZe, what made FaZe so big was that whenever anybody in FaZe would win, we'd all win together, and whenever anyone in FaZe would lose, we'd all lose together. So there was other things like the CS:GO Wild scandal and the Tfue thing, where all of us also ate the brunt of that. So it's like you can't single things out, and that's why I just accept it at some point. Like if we're gonna all win when everything's good, like if we all get harmed by the drama or whatever it is too, that's just part of it. So you know, I know from the FaZe perspective how hard that was. I can't imagine from you, right? Because you were kind of the main spotlight in it. Yeah. I mean, like early on, you know, Tico and Nikon and Jarvis kind of got like cleared early, and then you know videos were dropping. It's like Kay is this mastermind that just scammed everyone, right? Right. I remember it happening in like, again, I've known you for this point for like probably 8-9 years, and like, I just remember like there's no way this is real, because it sounds crazy, it looks crazy, just like there's no way this is what it seems like. Then I'm like, I don't know, you know, because also like I'm saying, I also know what happens with everybody. Like when you get caught up in the money, like you can't put it past a human to not make a mistake.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Especially at that point, the crypto stuff was going crazy.
Yeah, it was going really. It was a big run. That was 2021 bull run.
Everybody is making stupid money on all these coins and NFTs. So it's like, I'm kind of going. When I saw it, I didn't believe it. I'm like, actually, I don't know, because like, you know, I anything could happen. We're all human, and like you see up money, and it's just like it's so easy without thinking things through. Especially when we're like you landed in the airport, you flew back same day. Yeah, exactly. That's how our brains are. We just go without much planning or thinking.
Like I saw it back then though, like especially those early ones. I was like, oh, it's just like a brand deal.
Yeah,
like, that's kind of the way I saw it. Obviously, extremely wrong.
Yeah, well,
it was never like I had the intent. It's never like I was like, oh, I'm about to steal money from people. Like what? Like, there's no way I was thinking like that.
No, so and then for me too, when I saw Jarvis in it,
that was
put everything aside. I'm like, there is no way Kay would throw Jarvis into this. So can you? I know you've probably. I'm sorry, I don't know how much you want to talk about. I'm sure you hate this subject.
Anything you want to ask me, I'll answer.
But like, I think it would be good because again, even like people don't, even me, to be honest with you, I don't even know the full story.
Oh really?
Like I didn't watch the hour-long videos.
There's a lot of stuff that happened after all the videos.
There is, and like I know you early on, like you posted a video that your lawyers kind of told you to post, and then you ended up doing a more detailed video, and you know, there's the third parties that were involved. But yeah, can you like give it from your perspective, like from the beginning, I guess?
Okay, I would there's obviously it's a bit suppressed, and I think my brain tries to suppress it a bit to like not traumatize me. But
yeah, I don't blame you.
I'll never forget like when it first kicked off and I saw like an article and it said FaZe Kay could face 30 years in jail. I was like, what, bro? Like what is going on? Like, I had no idea like what I was getting into. You know, I was spending all my time making videos, dabbled in crypto a bit. But anyway, when everything kicked off, the first video I made, I had originally like 3 lawyers hired and a PR firm hired. So
wait, but really fast, just for context, how did it even? Did someone come to you saying, "Hey, there's this was it like a brand deal presented to you as a brand deal? Was it something that you guys created the concepts for, or like?"
So no, that was all created in house with the individual. I don't want to say his name in case
that you worked with.
Yeah, the individual that I worked with. He was a huge part of the whole thing.
So he created the concept,
and it was an airtight. It was never gonna tank like that unless a certain there was instruction given to a developer before the project went live to like remove the if you have a lot of coins, it basically meant you can now sell them. But before that, we had it in place where you can't just, if you're a big holder, dump and make everything go red.
So it was supposed to be locked.
Yeah. Okay. Like a normal thing. Yeah.
By the way, that reminds me of when FaZe went public.
I actually want to speak to you about that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It feels like a pump and dump to me too, because it went public.
Makes me sad.
The thing went up here, but we were locked. You know, we couldn't sell anything until the stock was down here.
Yeah, bro.
Which is unfortunate, right? But I don't know. When I say we, I just know myself and the other 3 guys.
That was crazy because I mean, obviously, you know, me, Jarvis had shares. We invested money into FaZe as well as having the options. And I remember looking at the filings and I was like, wait, Apex has that many shares. I was doing maths and I was like,
yeah,
like mate, but like I
know
like,
that
Norden, Tommy, Banks as well.
Yeah, that's the dream that was sold to everyone, and then unfortunately, I mean, we all know what happened after that. But like, dude, that's a whole nother, that whole process is a whole nother thing. Cause you know, even with you guys and I talked to Tico about it and like, I don't know, from your perspective, I don't want to speak for anyone, but like for me, like for years leading up to that, trying to find the right way to bring everyone deeper in and all that stuff and the pushback from the corporate and whatever. That's why like when this happened with you guys too, was that a kind of a rough patch with you guys? Like you and Jarvis and all the guys in that house, you were like the biggest
in Vegas.
Yeah, you guys were like the biggest at the time, right?
Yeah.
But there was like the relationship with FaZe was not the best.
Being sour.
Yeah, it was sour.
So like,
and like I remember, I literally sent the CEO to Vegas.
Bro, no. So
I literally sent him to you. I'm like, go figure it out with them. Like you have to figure out how to get like. Again, I don't want to be trying to make myself seem like I'm fully innocent or whatever of like. But I just remember, I'm like, dude, we need to get these. We need everyone to be happy. We need to get people to certain. And I remember literally, he's like, he wanted to call you guys. I'm like, no, go to Vegas. Go to Vegas and figure it out with them. And then like a week later, all this happened.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember before that, I was like, I didn't know. I was like, wait, the company's going public. And like a lot of people think a company going public is like the start of the journey. That's an exit.
Yeah.
That's how you make your money. And I was like, we don't own, like these guys own the whole company. Like surely we should have like a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And like Tico as well. Like there wasn't just me. It was like me, Tico, Blaze, Jev. Jev's name was up there. And things, just random people that they didn't understand.
No, 100%.
That was a crazy day.
It was a crazy time. And that was the fall of it, obviously, too, with it didn't work. You know, for years I tried to, you know, it's not going to work unless.
One thing I do remember about that is I remember being a few weeks into it, and obviously I was making the FaZe Kay videos, and I was like, I mean, I could work this hard, but like this is a lot of work.
Yeah, no, it was an uphill battle that was never gonna.
Yeah,
it was very rough. It was for me. It's like we're so deep in that we gotta just try to make this work. And
trust.
Those guys did not have the right intentions of like trying to get people happy before. Like it could have been so easily solvable, in my opinion. Yeah. So many of the problems could have been. But anyways. Forget all that. Like within a week or two of him going to Vegas and like we're trying to figure out new agreements with you guys or whatever, this whole thing happened. And then obviously like right away, you know, you got kicked, quote unquote. The other three guys got suspended.
To me, it felt like a month in between me getting kicked. Like it happened. Like it felt like that. Maybe it was just time being drawn.
I'm bad with the timeline, but it was really soon after is what I'm saying.
No, I mean, after I got kicked, that's when things really got crazy for me because, you know, a few people knew about it before, but when I got kicked, it was like, this is big now. This is huge.
It became like a huge thing in the community. Yeah. Everyone was talking about it.
Yeah, true.
So it was presented to you as kind of like like here's like a thing we're doing. These guys are locked up, so you know we're not. It's like it's protected from being a rug pull.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they tied in a charity element.
Yeah,
is that how it was presented to you?
So the thing is, yeah, it was because you know there's a lot of coins. Like I forget what this one like Jake Paul. It was called like. Called like Munch or like Eat or something, and like it was the exact same tokenomics. Like for every sale or buy, a certain amount of that is given to a charity, and there was a real charity receiving real money.
Yeah,
right? Everything else involved, looking back, obviously very wrong. But
so again, I'm genuinely asking you because I didn't watch. Like even if I did, I forgot about the CoffeeZilla video. But you started getting a lot of heat because apparently they're following your transactions and you're selling.
Exactly.
So what exactly happened from your perspective? If you're not, because I know like Tico, for example, is like, I never sold anything.
Yeah,
I lost all my money.
He actually bought more back.
Yeah. So that's why he got cleared so early on, right?
Yeah. But I remember at the very start, it was like, because I had obviously put a lot of money into it. Like, you know, it was more of a setup of like, I give my money to certain things and then my business partner back then can like sort of do them. And again, it's inexcusable because I did it. Obviously, wish I didn't. But when it was going to, I remember him telling me, "Yo, Frazier, like, try get some money back. Like, try sell some." And like, I mean, the money I got back, even if I had only lost the amount I invested into the project initially, I would have got like basically nothing back. So obviously, ended up losing way more than that down the line. But that was why. Because I was scared to have lost how much I paid.
So it's kind of like panic selling while it was crashing.
Yeah, and again, I could have sold a lot more, but obviously didn't. Like there was so much money, and if I wanted to make max amount of money, I could have made a lot of money just by clicking a button. But obviously didn't do that. Hindsight, obviously, it's all wrong.
Yeah,
didn't know that at the time. Naive, blind kid, but it's just how it is. But you know, the following months after that was insane.
Yeah, can you share what happened after that?
Yeah, so like when I made 2 videos. The first video was like a short video, And during that time, it even took me 2 weeks to get out. During that time, I had like 3 lawyers hired, like a criminal lawyer, a civil lawyer, some other lawyer, and a PR firm. And like every call I had with them was like 4K a call. Because of how many
so
people
crazy,
bro. But like these guys are telling me, these lawyers, these first lawyers I had were like, yeah, like, you know, you're not going to be able to post a video for 3 years. We can't talk about this for 3 years. You've got to stay under wraps and just kind of hope the US government doesn't come chasing after you. And I was like, what? That is not an option.
yeah,
Like, I'm making a full video.
yeah,
Like, you don't understand. This PR guy was like, no, I know PR. And I was like, no, you don't know how the FaZe community works. Like, I need to say something.
yeah.
And so I was like gagged for a long time. And it was a big decision for me because my mum was so, you know, bless her, so involved and helping me out. When I realized these lawyers weren't going to let me do anything, I fired them all. And
I mean, at that point, you're probably thousands into paying them too.
mate, crazy amounts into paying them.
It's a tough, like,
Yeah, so I was like 200 so down from that.
that's
Those first lawyers.
yeah. I'm just thinking from your again, like, I can already see people thinking that I'm out here to, like, for the people that are just gonna look at it like you did a rug pull and you scam people, they're gonna like they're not gonna think of you as a human. But like, you know, you just explained a little bit of the perspective. I know you ended up paying everyone back too, which we'll get to at the end of this, I'm sure. But like, I can't imagine all that happening, and your brother's dragged into it, and you're
Right.
kicked from FaZe, and you're losing more money every single day paying lawyers, and then you're firing them. It's like, I can't imagine what that's like mentally.
Yeah, I mean, the guilt, especially after obviously everything I've done for Jarvis, that was tremendous.
And everyone's tweeting out every day saying that they lost money in the coin too.
Yeah, so that was really like my main driver for refunding everybody 100% was waking up every day and like you check your mentions. So it's like a built into my brain to wake up and check my Twitter mentions.
Yeah.
I'd see like, I can't, you know, some of them were trolls, some of them were not, but like, I can't pay this because of YOLO. So I was like, yo, whoa, this is like real people, bro.
That lost
Like
money. Yeah.
suffering. And I was like, this is,
I mean, again, I don't know all the details, so I'm not like, I'm trying to stay neutral in it.
yeah.
But from the way you explained it, I'm just trying to be as neutral as possible. But it looks like it's not like you weren't intending to sell to profit, but you were selling while it was crashing to try to, like, panic selling to try to
Just
minimize your loss.
Yeah, mitigate my, yeah.
Which still people are gonna say it's not okay, which I get it because
It's
you know
not.
you launched a coin 100%.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's a little different than like, you know, you launched it and you sold it
Yeah.
at the peak trying to profit.
Yeah.
So obviously, okay, you end up firing the lawyers.
Yep.
A lot of people have this, by the way. Even when we had the whole Tifu lawsuit, I remember being in the office and we had a crisis PR team and all this. It's like,
Yeah.
and then Banks literally, Banks didn't talk to anybody. Like we're in the office. They have this crisis PR team. Everyone's huddled or whatever. And then Banks just drops a video called Dear Tifu. And it got like 20 million views. And like his Dear Tifu video is what solved
love
everything.
him.
And I remember when everyone's like, no, Banks, don't post it. But you know Banks. He's like, no, this is what we got to do. And it's just like, it's just so funny to see. Because like maybe there's some moments where the, you know, corporate classic side of doing things is right. But like, it doesn't work on the internet.
It
doesn't work in some. So
that's what I was
to
saying
fire
to
them
these
and
guys.
like you know, you fired them basically, and then you made your own video, right?
So no, I fired them, but obviously I still needed representation. And Sean Bloom, a friend of mine in Vegas, actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, you know, I've got my dad's friend is a lawyer. He's seen what's going on and thinks he could help you." I was speaking to Sean at the time. He's like, he understands. You know, this lawyer thinks you should make a video. This lawyer thinks you should go directly to the government and get in front of it. And I was like, hell yeah, like this is exactly what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
So I ended up signing with that lawyer, and immediately we got to work on the video. We also got to work on speaking to the government because a big part of what my last lawyers wanted to do was, so I was being investigated by the SEC, the FBI, the DOJ, and the Eastern District of New York. The DOJ and the EDNY are kind of like similar. They're like the attorneys and the investigators. But, you know, EDNY is kind of like money crimes.
FBI, you said.
Yeah.
SEC. These are like the biggest groups that will come after someone.
Yeah, and
like
this time I still hadn't gone back to America. Like I was scared to land in America, and I've got a crazy story about that anyway. But yeah, I remember, you know, emailing so much discovery, so much. I'd sent them everything under the sun they had ever asked for. Lots of details.
Your old lawyers kind of wanted to avoid and hope they didn't catch you, but
Exactly.
you guys went
wait
straight to
for an
them.
email. Yeah,
Okay.
like we approached them. I think one of the SEC may have approached me at first, and we responded to their letter and got out in front of it. Then there was one day where I was on a call with all of them. There was like 2 FBI agents, 2 SEC, 2 DOJ, EDNY attorneys, or whatever the investigators. So it was like 12 of them, and then me and my 2 lawyers on the call. It was the most intense call of my entire life. I basically was a call where it was like, anything you say has to be a truth, right? It was like this like under oath sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I did this insanely long call, 2.5 hours. And the conclusion after that call was the case being closed. It took a few months to get the final conclusion and the letters signed off from the agencies and stuff, stating that the case is no further investigation, closed, whatnot. But that was the result. The SEC were the first to do it. A really big factor for that I had told my lawyers I'd done, but like they basically, if you pay somebody back, it's like an admission of guilt. And I was like, well,
really?
Yeah. And that was why my first lawyers were saying you can't pay anybody back. And I was like, you don't understand. I'm paying these people back, like whether you like it or not. So my second lawyer, the one I have, the one that's helping me out, was in agreement with it. So me and my best friends from England that I trusted, really good at maths, downloaded like this whole spreadsheet of the thing, and I set up an email and had hundreds of people email me. I mentioned it in the video. It's like, if you lost money on Save the Kids, email this email, send me your wallet, and we'll send you back 100% of what you lost. There's hundreds of emails put into a spreadsheet. It was a mad calculation, but every single person that's emailed and also still emailing has been refunded 100%.
To this day, people still email?
Yeah. I mean, about 7-8 months ago, I think I refunded like an extra 100, 200K.
How much do you think you refunded total?
The price of BNB, which the currency was in, is fluctuating, but I'd say about $500,000 or so.
And that's all.
Like, it wasn't the biggest project, but still, it's like as long as everybody is. And
that's all out of your pocket.
Yes.
And that's with the money that you lost. Like, it's not from your original money. That's all new money out of your pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, you know, it was again going back to, you know, and then I wouldn't wake up and see tweets of people saying I lost money because of you. And if I did, I'd DM them, and then they ended up being a troll. And like I realized how many were trolls.
Oh, really? Like they didn't actually have a wallet.
So I'm sorry, I'm just trolling.
Oh my god.
And then some of them like, I can't feed I'm a single mom. You know what I'm saying? Like when they go crazy with the troll.
But there's like real ones too.
Exactly.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Exactly. But no, I obviously had them all paid back, and that was the biggest factor for the SEC, right? The SEC being people that protect the public's interest. So everybody in the public being paid back. When I told them that on the call, I remember them question. It was like, so Frazier, like, you know, these headlines are different. How much money do people lose? And I was like, well, 0, because I've paid them back. And they were like, wait, what? And it was a kind of a moment of silence on this call. And I think they've realized, you know, I'm not here to take them like money.
Yeah. So it's
going to make it right.
And that's the opposite of what your lawyers told. Your lawyers said if you pay them back, you're going to be admitting that you're guilty.
The original lawyers did, yes. It was like a huge admission of guilt. And I was like, well, how are these people going to get whole anyway? It was a crazy, there was no solution with the first group of lawyers.
Except hide. Literally, they told you hide off the internet for 3 years.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's an admission of guilt.
Wait, bro.
To not make a video and not talk feels like more of an admission of guilt.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah.
So what, you said you were scared to fly into America.
Yeah. I mean, so I was actually on vacation one time with Jarvis, and it was my first time flying to America. And this is one thing I just have to check with my lawyer. I'm sure it'll be fine for me, so I'm just saying anyway.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. So I hadn't even told, my lawyers had given me permission to go back to America. And I booked a flight to land in New York. And my lawyer called me up and goes, yo, Frazier, you just booked a flight to the United States? And I was like, yeah. Like, how do you know that? And he was like, the FBI just called me saying they saw you booked a flight and want to meet you at the airport. And I was like, yo. Bro.
Oh man,
like, mate, I'm tripping out, bro.
Yeah.
But you know, my lawyers said respectfully, Frazier would not like to meet in the airport. And still to this day, if they ever would like my help, I've said to them through my lawyers, I would be more than willing to do that. If they need to ever understand some sort of thing they don't get, I'll help them out. But I didn't meet them at the airport. I thought that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But you know.
But they didn't.
That was nuts. Like I got flagged in like a system, and they called my lawyers up, bro.
It's like, yeah, you're like a most wanted list.
I'll never forget landing in America that time. I was like
You're probably terrified, huh?
terrified.
So in your video, from what I remember, most of your video seemed like it was, I don't want to say pointing the finger because maybe it's completely accurate, but most of the blame that you put on your partner because he kind of swindled you is my understanding.
Absolutely.
Is that the case, or do you feel like you also made mistakes?
No, I mean, I definitely made mistakes. I would, take accountability for whatever I have to take accountability for, right? Like, I the big up of my whole life. That being said,
but even when you say that, what is that? Is that just trusting the project?
Trusting the project, trusting the guy.
Because again,
being like, making all this money from these crypto brand deals before it, I was like, wow, there's so much money. And like, he was like, yeah, if we just have our own one, it's like, we own it. And like, it's all this. I was like, well, okay, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
He was also getting paid a lot of money for crypto brand deals back then as well.
Is he allowed in the U.S.?
No.
I've heard stuff that he's not allowed in the U.S. anymore.
I mean, bro, no.
He escaped, right?
That guy's not allowed in America, bro.
That's insane.
I saw Action Man, a streamer, tweeting about that recently. But yeah, he's banned. I don't want to say for what reason, but he's not coming here. And if he is, he's got a very good lawyer.
I think part of it, maybe like you said, the brand. There's a lot of people making so much money on crypto.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of people throw money in meme coins and stuff. Because you're just like, if everyone's making, like, you feel like you have to get in.
Yeah,
maybe people lost money. So you had some brand deals you did before that, and then you did this. But I guess your intent, though, obviously you wanted to make money off the coin in some capacity when you launched it, of course.
Exactly.
But I think you truly believed that it was going to help charity and it was going to be like
absolutely. I mean, technically it did, but not to the extent we obviously would want it to. And having the whole other aspects involved in it, as dumb as it sounds, I've learned obviously you can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? But no, I was extremely influenced by that individual back then. Like everything I ever did, like all my YouTube, even the FaZe videos, everything, like we did it together.
Yeah,
like, we had a company together. Like,
I'm not gonna lie to you. Literally weeks before this happened, I feel like because he's notoriously, I don't want to speak bad about him because whatever, but like he's notoriously known for, a lot of people just don't have the best image of him. And I really feel like he was in your ear again, there's a lot of issues with FaZe at the time, don't get me wrong. Like we spoke about. And I told you, like, I'm not shy of it at all. I definitely was always vocal about wanting everyone to get brought in more and get taken care of. So it wasn't done though, right? So I understand there was a lot of problems, but there was some friction. I don't remember what. I just remember feeling for the first time ever with you, it just felt different with me and you. Even with not like you and I don't think we ever like had a beef. Like we never had not beef. That's not the right word. But like I don't think you ever said anything like necessarily disrespectful to me or vice versa. But the energy, I just remember feeling like this is like not Kay. This is not the Kay I've known for 10 years. And I think it was a lot of that. Aside from, I'm not even talking about the Save the Kids stuff. I'm talking about just even general.
Right.
And I just feel like, again, there was the things you were upset about and you guys were upset about that was very valid. But I also think that this guy was just whisper nonstop, and everyone's like trying to like kind of divide and conquer, similar to the original CEO that came in.
Yeah, and he would enable me as well. And at the same time, like something I see myself now as being a completely different guy to who I was in like 2021. Because like, bro, I used to not wake up and go out unless I had like Dior head to toe and my diamond showing. Like,
but again, like
I was like carrying
to give you a benefit, like when you're making as much money as you're making, it's easy to get sucked into that.
Yeah, but then like because the speed and everything, and like again, it was during COVID, right? I hadn't seen my friends really in a couple of years, and like if my friend Harrison and George can't, because of how crazy I am, don't feel like they can say to me, "Oh, Fraser, like we think you should like chill on this."
Yeah,
and I'm obviously like lost.
Yeah,
which I was.
Yeah. So how did your friends and your family react to the whole Save the Kids thing? Because again,
I mean,
I think that was just a huge point in your life. Clearly,
clearly
that was a huge problem. But I'm sure you changed forever after that.
Oh man, yeah.
How did they all react to that? Especially because you went from a very, very high place, a very low spot, and like that's when you kind of realize who's real around you too.
Exactly.
So how did the people around you react?
So I mean, that exactly like you said, like it was. Jarvis had won his fight, felt like at the top of the world, and then 2 weeks later at the very bottom. So the change in that quick was insane. But what I realized is like I already knew who my friends were, but it just reaffirmed that like they really are my best friends. I'm extremely lucky to have the friend group I have, and they support me so much throughout it. It was like I wouldn't be here probably without them supporting me through that. Like they helped keep the YouTube business going along. I hired all close friends, and like we were working together. They really helped push me through it, and help regain my confidence back and things like that afterwards, which was crucial. I had lost all confidence, everything like that. So they really helped me get back up on my feet, which was great. And obviously my mother, Jarvis and Chandler. Jarvis literally was like, I don't care about anything until you're good. I was like, well, that's crazy.
I remember Jarvis was like, even about rejoining FaZe. Obviously, it's not. I actually never expected him to join FaZe because I knew he was gonna have the reaction he had. But right, like Jarvis was cleared. Yeah. And at that time, FaZe was very corporate, also, where it's just like, the whole you had to suspend and do an investigation and not about this specifically. Obviously, this deserved an investigation, the Save the Kids thing. But like, FaZe was a very I don't know what the word it was that I'm looking for, but the way that it was structured, like if anyone did anything, there'd have to be like this internal like they were just, it was like, that was a time in the world where everyone was super duper corporate and like,
and you're about to go public as well. So like,
but
it's a lot of
I remember, so the whole thing was weird, and I remember Jarvis was like, "No, I'm not joining FaZe if Kay's not in," which I completely respect from Jarvis. But I'm sure that all that kind of small stuff was very helpful, like you said, to you kind of getting back out of that hole, because I can't imagine how deep of a hole you got in, because even when we speak about FaZe and going public and the crash and all that, like I was in a deep, dark place for
I'm sure,
a couple of years, and like that's without all, you had probably thousands of, I'd say hundreds a day maybe, at the peak, maybe thousands of people. Scammer, you suck, you scamming kids. You know how many comments I got? I launched a charity, even this one. Every year I do a charity for orphans.
You actually have a charity?
No.
I've seen that, sorry.
I partner with a charity, and I raise money for orphans to sponsor like 100 orphans. I just finished. To this day, every comment, save the kids, another save the kids. Like,
really?
Yeah, like people... now it's maybe more of a meme, but early on, like anytime I post anything, it's like I'm scamming. And I had, I obviously had nothing to like FaZe again, like I spoke about. FaZe was connected, but like, so I can't imagine your perspective, and I can't imagine the thousands of people that came at you every day. It's like to get out of that hole must have been crazy. So like you said, and shout out to your family and your mom for being there and helping you through it. And it's cool that you were able to pay everyone back. I'm sure you feel happy knowing. I don't even know if people know that. That's why I was like, I wanted you to tell that too, because like, that's like a...
Yeah, I mean, everyone's just paid back 100%. If there's still more people to pay back, they can email me.
They'll email us. I think that is a big part of the story, that clearly that's how the internet is. Yeah. People don't care to report on that part of it. They're not gonna. It's been a few years anyways, but like, so what have you, since then, thankfully you kind of got back on your feet. Yeah. Mentally too. Yeah. So now you're in Vegas with Tico and Jarvis and
Jarvis, Nikon. Yeah, we live together.
So what are you up to now?
I started a couple years ago actually a management company, and I've always been good at getting views on YouTube for people.
Do you do like content management, social media management?
Yeah, got a great team, so like they can. It works itself. I'm obviously there doing stuff, but the company moves without me, which is great. So that's
everyone's dream, I think.
Yeah, I mean, no, it doesn't move without, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, but I mean, like,
I don't have to be there 8 hours a day.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, there's parts of FaZe where I feel like if I wasn't doing certain things, it wouldn't. Absolutely. That's the worst feeling. So, and obviously Jarvis is like fully boxing. Even right now, you're in LA right now because he's sparring here.
Yeah, we're here to spar.
And you're like like I said earlier, you're like his like manager's not the right word, but like you like run Jarvis from outside looking in. Yeah, seems like Jarvis just shows up and does what he needs to do. And you handle everything else. Yeah, is that true?
Yeah, his coach does love saying that. She's like manager of the year.
Yeah, so you spend a lot of time like helping Jarvis in his career.
Yeah,
as well.
So like there's a saying, and like in no way am I calling myself a brain, but like in the family, it's like the brains and the brutes. Jarvis is clearly a brute. Yeah, I can help him. Like he's made a lot of money and he's got a lot of like real estate and stuff that I make sure is going smoothly and like all that, because like you don't want to be the guy that makes the money and then loses all the money.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
So you're like, you help manage basically everything for him, investments and stuff like that.
And when you see how much you have to box, like you can't think about anything, especially after getting beaten. So I just make sure he.
What kind of investments have you guys made?
A lot of real estate. So we have a real estate in the United Kingdom. Okay. We do it in Liverpool. Okay. Which is a good spot. We've been growing that for a while, actually. Jarvis, we got the first house when he was 18. And then, you can kind of like buy a house, have somebody rent it, pay off a certain amount of the mortgage debt, and then remortgage it and get more Like the only linear factor is time. So like if you start early, like 4 houses, and you say you wait 4 years, and you can have 8, 4 years, and you can have 16.
Wow.
So it's a very good, consistent, strong thing. We did that. Obviously, like just through like not a crazy amount, but like Bitcoin, that was a good one.
Yeah.
As well. Like there's this company called MicroStrategy, which it's a stock. But when it was blowing up, well, before it blew up, I was like, yo, Jarvis, we should like buy this. Like I really like this guy and everything. This guy Michael Saylor. We got really lucky on that one. That was really cool.
Invested early in.
And then I mean, mate, this is crazy to talk about, but we did Jarvis and I invested money into FaZe. I don't know if you remember that. But when Justin Kenner was like the CFO,
Yeah.
I think it was 2019, before Clybourne, we each did 50K into FaZe. And when the company went public, that was actually, we were able to sell that because that was an option.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys sold it?
Yeah.
At what, $20?
Yeah, about 15.
Wow. How much did that turn into?
But for me and Jarvis combined, it was about $1 million.
That's crazy. Wow. I mean, I'm not mad about you making money off of it. I can't imagine how much money other people made off of it, but
I mean, bro,
that's crazy.
Buy goes up, sell goes down.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's insane. I mean, obviously, our story is I still haven't sold anything.
Yeah. But like
Washed it all the way to 18 cents.
Yeah, bro.
15 cents.
I don't even like saying that because
No, I mean, I'm not mad to
even
hear.
with Tico, like I spoke about Tico and I'm like,
I know
bro.
he never sold his investment.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, I've still got all my options. I haven't sold a single one of those.
Same.
We did buy those, but this was the seed A investment or something we did.
See, I know I have some Series A. The thing is, I unfortunately also, like, you guys did a really good job of reaching out, getting lawyers, getting representation, getting people that have knowledge in this stuff, getting advice.
Yeah.
I never did any of that, unfortunately, either.
It was quite stressful at one point. Maybe I reached out to you, but because of the share price or something that the lawyer at the time gave us, our tax bill on the $1 million was $850,000. And then it was like months. And then somebody at FaZe, I forget who they are, sorry, was like, oh no, sorry, this is the price. And fixed it. It was like,
oh wow,
3-4 months of thinking like, oh well, this is all for nothing.
Yeah. It is very confusing. The whole thing, the whole way the market works to me is confusing, and
yeah,
it is. It's good to your point of having a team and people you could trust around you. It's very important. So,
very important. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that you were able to get something out of that. So,
mate, I mean, obviously, we could have had a lot more. Like,
I wish, yeah, we could have. That's what sucks, right? People
like at one point, I was literally with Jarvis, like, we're chilling. I'm sure as you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's a crazy thing.
Definitely felt like that at one point. The thing is, unfortunately for me, fortunately, I think in some ways, I just never really believed it. Like, I was like, in my head, I was always like, until I see the money in my bank, I just don't believe it. All the raising at this value and that value, like even when we went public, like if I was going, like I'd go on the calculator on my phone, put my shares times the price. I'd look at it, I'm like, there's no way it's real. Like, there's just no way that's real. Yeah. And it was at some point, but you couldn't sell it.
Some people made that much money, bro.
I don't even want to know. That's the kind of stuff I actually would rather not know. I'm sure
you can go and look at it online.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't even want to know. Someone told me recently, oh yeah, I was talking to some old FaZe employee that made millions. I was like, I don't know how anyone would have made millions, but I think for sure if they sold early on,
yeah.
I would rather just move on in my brain from that whole.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
From that, no, trust me, I'm good now. And I've already accepted it. Yeah. It took me a couple of years, but I'm like, it is what it is. I actually don't stress about it. I don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's just, it taught me a lot of big lessons also, where it's just like, people are very greedy. People are very selfish. And I just really want to minimize the amount of people I have to work with again in my life.
Less stress, more
success. Yeah, it is. But it's all we're very blessed either way.
Yeah.
For all the experiences that we've had. And
yeah. But think about how much we've done.
Yeah, I know that's the thing. I'm enjoying. I think I'm now. I'm 28, almost 30. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to I'm obviously still part of FaZe, and I'm not as involved as I've been in the past, but I'm not really sure what's gonna play out with FaZe. I don't know how everything's playing out. Banks is just doing his thing and he's crushing it, but I'm like getting ready to go in my 30s and try to really just look at that as like a new, instead of focusing on what we've done, and we had an amazing 20s. We did a lot of cool things. I think I really believe that the 30s could be even better than the 20s. So
yeah, a lot of people do say the 30s are the best years.
Yeah, so trying to figure out what to do, what to do in that time. But it has been really cool. We've been very blessed. I mean, you've been obviously again almost 15 years now online.
Yeah.
So you're a very recognizable face, especially with the Jarvis, Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little kids. You got the old viewers.
Yep.
You still have people I'm sure come up to you all the time and
Mate. Yeah,
what is it? You get have you get memed about? You get haters in public? I feel like no.
What's crazy is I've never met a hater in public.
Really?
Not one time. Like, like if I've been at a gaming event,
Yeah,
and like some kids run up past me, like maybe, like nothing direct or random. But mate, it's great because a lot, I was talking to Jarvis about this the other day in Miami, because in Miami there was so many people recognizing us, and every single person was like, "You're my childhood."
yeah.
Like,
that's all we hear now, right? It's so crazy.
My childhood.
That's how we know we're old, brother.
Bro, it's really cool though.
Oh, but people that are saying that to you are probably speaking of the Fortnite era.
Yeah.
Which is
and
even
I always
weirder.
ask them, it's like, you play Fortnite? Like, yeah, I'm like, all right, I just want to know.
That's what's even crazier. Like I've talked about this. I made Fortnite videos for like maybe a year or two, and there's so many people that came up asking about like that they used to watch my Fortnite videos. I'm like, dude, to me that era was like nothing. I think like whenever someone's coming to me, it's coming from New York or Call of Duty, so it's weird. I mean, you probably have so many, so I'm sure you enjoy that aspect of life. People still coming up and being recognized in public.
I mean, like it's cool. It's an honor to be able to have people that recognize you because of work and things you've done. But like I don't necessarily enjoy being in the middle of the spotlight and things like that. Like I like kind of, being on the side, helping people out, helping them reach their potential, things like that.
Yeah. So you always want to make content, you think?
Yeah, I don't think really I'm going to stop. Like, it's like I won't be like regimented about it, but I'll definitely. I really enjoy it. Like
I mean, to your point earlier of like looking up your driver's test, like
you
like that aspect of it, just having everything documented.
No, I really do. Yeah, and like Snapchatting as well is good fun. That's a big thing that we do now as well.
Really,
like,
okay.
That's cool because you could it's much easier and freer and on the go. It's cool. It's seeing all the pictures we have.
Yeah. I might come to Vegas. There's a guy I might go film out there with. So if I do, I'm gonna definitely come stop by your guys' house.
Definitely do that.
I know I always see you guys cooking. You, Nikon, and Tico, all of you are chefs.
Bro.
All three of you got cooking skills. And I always see you guys throwing on the grill. So
Smoking meats, bro. Yo, once you realize how good they are.
Yeah. But I appreciate you coming.
Thanks.
Also, Jarvis. Excited to sit down with Jarvis and get it done. But
Yep.
thank you. It was nice catching up.
Likewise.
Again, I think it's been now 12 years at least since we've known each other.
Yeah.
So I've loved to have this friendship with you from the beginning. You've been always, like I said, one of the people from the beginning that I think has been the most genuine. So
You're rewarded.
it's good to see you, bro.
Thank you.
My guy.
Appreciate you, bro.